Hello, IAS aspirants, particularly those who took All India Men's Simulator Test 2 for the subject essay at the study IAS, Old Rajendra Nagar. This is Professor Beerendra Pandey going through the entire question set and the answer strategies and the real answer, so that you get a clear-cut idea about essay writing and the strategies that you need to adopt for the upcoming examination. So this is why my presentation today is titled All India Men's Simulator Test 2 Subject Essay. This PowerPoint presentation is divided into several sections. The first section is called Before You Start Writing. So this is very important for you to keep in mind, that before you start answering an essay question, you should spend quite a bit of time, say for example about 10 minutes of time, thinking, understanding, thinking and planning about your essay before you write. And what are the strategies, what are the intricacies, what are the tricks, how you should go about it. These are the things that I am going to explain to you through this section. So first of all, let's look at the questions. There were 8 questions, 4 in group A and 4 in group B. The group A topics were, essay topics were, number 1 was, it always seems impossible until it is done. Topic number 2 was, do not go through life, grow through life. Do not go through life, grow through life. Topic number 3, he is the richest who is content with the least, for content is the wealth of nature. The 4th one is, the roots of education are bitter, but the fruit is sweet. So as you see, all these topics, prima facie, they look very philosophical, hyphenated, ethical. Okay. This is the nature of the questions. The first topic, जब तक हम कोई काम कर नहीं लेते हैं तब तक वो काम इम्पॉसिबल दिखता है, जब हम कर लेते हैं तो लगता है कि हाँ ये तो पॉसिबल था. दूसरा टॉपिक, जीवन में जस्ट चलो नहीं, जीवन के साथ ग्रो करो, आगे बढ़ो, जूझो. तीसरा टॉपिक, सबसे धनी वो आदमी है जिसमें संतोष होता है, जिसका चाहना, इच्छा कम है, क्योंकि कंटेंट ही, संतुष्टि ही प्रकृति की संपत्ति है. और जो चौथा टॉपिक है, रूट्स ऑफ एजुकेशन आर बिटर. शिक्षा की जड़ें, शिक्षा की शुरुआत करना आसान चीज नहीं है, बहुत तीता होता है, बहुत संघर्षशील होता है, लेकिन एजुकेशन का फल बहुत मीठा होता है. यदि तुम प्राप्त कर लो तो फल बहुत मीठा होता है. तो जैसे कि तुम देख सकते हो, ये जितने टॉपिक है ये फिलोसॉफिकल इथिकल टॉपिक है. तो पहले ये समझ लो कि ग्रुप ए का टॉपिक्स का नेचर क्या है. अब हम ग्रुप बी पर चलते हैं. Group B essay topics, every man is guilty of all the good he did not do. आपने जीवन में जो जो अच्छा काम नहीं किया, आप उसके लिए आप में सेंस ऑफ गिल्ट होना चाहिए, आप उसके लिए गिल्टी हैं. A smile is the chosen vehicle of all ambiguities. जो मुस्कुराहट है वो एम्बिग्विटीज को शो करता है, एम्बिग्विटीज का व्हीकल है. पैट्रियोटिज्म इज द वर्च्यू ऑफ द विशियस. जो आदमी बहुत विशियस होता है, गलत काम करता है, वो आदमी ज्यादा देशभक्ति दिखाने का कोशिश करता है. या इसको ऐसे भी ले सकते हैं कि देशभक्ति दिखाना कभी कभी विशियस काम है, खराब काम है. Even if you are a minority of one, the truth is the truth. यदि कोई आदमी माइनॉरिटी व्यू रखता है, पर वो माइनॉरिटी व्यू यदि सत्य है तो सत्य है, वो सत्य है तो माइनॉरिटी में अपने आप को पाते हुए भी उस सत्य को पकड़ना चाहिए, उसको बोलना चाहिए, उसको लेके आगे बढ़ना चाहिए. सो दीज आर द टॉपिक्स. सो ये भी टॉपिक आप देखिएगा, these topics are also almost of the same nature, less ethical and more philosophical of nature. तो दोनों सेक्शंस में जो अंतर है वो यही है कि फर्स्ट एक ग्रुप का क्वेश्चन फिलोसॉफिकल इथिकल है, सेकेंड ग्रुप का क्वेश्चन जो है वो फिलोसॉफिकल ज्यादा है, मोर ऑफ द फिलोसॉफिकल टाइप. ओके, सो नाउ what should be your next strategy? Your next strategy should be, after you have looked at the questions, your strategy should be to initially understand and quickly understand each of these topics and decide which of the two I am going to do. That is, which one I am going to select from group A and which one I am going to select from group B. But here you can not be as detailed as I am here, because I am speaking to you, to a group of students who, one students may have done this question, other students may have done that question. So this is why I am going to be a bit detailed in the sense that I am going to explicate to you all the questions, but you don't need to spend time explicating all the questions in your mind. Just pick on the two, explicate them, but this is how you should explicate. So let's look at the first one. It always seems impossible until it is done. So what does this mean? What does this tell you? What this tells you is that great achievements often seem unattainable, but eventually they are accomplished. किसी ने सोचा नहीं था कि आदमी कोई माउंट एवरेस्ट पर चला जाएगा. माउंट एवरेस्ट पर चढ़ना लगता था इम्पॉसिबल है, लेकिन जब उसकी प्राप्ति हो गई, तेंजिंग नोर्गे और एडमंड हिलरी जब चढ़ गए उस पर, तो लगता है कि भाई ये तो पॉसिबल है. सो इट मीन्स दैट, एक है इसका ये. अब इसमें जो दूसरा लेयर जो छुपा हुआ है वो क्या है? इट रिफ्लेक्ट्स perseverance, vision and courage in overcoming challenges. दृढ़ता, perseverance का मतलब होता है दृढ़ता, विजन दूरदृष्टि और साहस. साहस, दृष्टि या दूरदृष्टि और दृढ़ता, इन क्वालिटियों का जरूरत पड़ता है. वी रिक्वायर दीज क्वालिटीज to overcome challenges which look impossible. So we transform the impossible into possible by virtue of these three traits. When we displace these traits, the traits of perseverance, vision and courage. अब एग्जाम्पल सोचो कुछ, जब एक्सप्लिकेट कर रहे हो उसी समय में वो एग्जाम्पल सोचो कुछ, जैसे IIM का मतलब हुआ इंडियन इंडिपेंडेंस मूवमेंट, सोशल मूवमेंट जो इंडिया को इंडिपेंडेंस दिलाया, साइंटिफिक ब्रेक थ्रू, लैंडिंग ऑन द मून, वो जब फर्स्ट टाइम आदमी गया मून पर, या हमारा चंद्रयान ही गया मून पर, पर्सनल माइलस्टोन्स, कोई आदमी मैराथन रेस जीत लेता है, कोई आदमी जैसे हेलन केलर ब्लाइंड होते हुए भी she got such good education and she made a mark for herself in her life. So these are some of the notable examples that should flood in your mind when you decide that you are going to write your essay on this, and you are trying to understand the topic in a better way through explication in your mind. So all these things lead to the transformation of what seemed to be an impossible task into something that becomes possibility. So what looked like impossible becomes undeniable reality. अखंड सत्य हो जाता है. लगता है कि भैया ये तो लगता था कि ये तो हो नहीं सकता है, लेकिन आज आदमी चंद्रमा पर भी घर बना सकता है, ये अखंड सत्य जैसा लगता है. Okay, so this is how I have explicated the first topic, and you should do likewise before you start writing. Look at the second one. Do not go through life, grow through life. ऐसे ही जीवन में चलते नहीं रहो, है ना. जीवन में चलने का मतलब होना चाहिए ग्रो होना. तुम कितना ग्रो किए, कल कहां थे, अब कहां हो, परसों कहां रहोगे, उस मिशन से चलना चाहिए. ऐसे एमलेसली नहीं चलना चाहिए. तो इसका क्या मतलब है, इस कोट का क्या मतलब है? इस कोट का सीधा मतलब है, अब देखो इसमें बाइनरी अपोजिशन है. एक अपोजिशन है, एक तरफ है गो थ्रू लाइफ, सुबह उठना, ब्रेकफास्ट करना, ऑफिस जाना, घर आना, या खेत जाना, काम करना, हा? और दूसरा है, तो ये हुआ, इसको बोलते हैं, इसको हम बोलेंगे, इसके लिए यदि हम कोई शब्द रखेंगे तो ये हुआ पैसिव एग्जिस्टेंस. दिस इज पैसिव एग्जिस्टेंस, रूटीन पैसिव एग्जिस्टेंस. दूसरा हुआ कि ये सब करते हुए भी हम कुछ सीखने का प्रयास करेंगे और उस सीख से ग्रो करेंगे. So there is a binary opposition in this statement. On the one hand we have passive existence, and on the other hand we have active learning. So इस कोट का So if you look at this statement, do not go through life and grow through life, there is a binary opposition in this statement. On the one hand we have going through life, going through the motions of life, as most of the people do, right? But quite a few of the people, while even going through the motions of life, they also grow. So prima facie, this binary opposition that you see, if you dig into it, this is the binary opposition between active learning and passive existence. Those people who just go through the motions of life, that is passive existence. But those people who grow despite going through the motions of life, that is active learning. So what this tells you is that challenges, failures and successes foster growth. Those people who are prepared to accept challenges, try to overcome them, be prepared to accept failures, because success does not come easy. Success comes after failures, and the Chandrayaan 3 is the prime example of that. Chandrayaan 2 failed, in 3 we succeeded, right? Enables individuals to contribute meaningfully to society. And those people who have done so, who have accepted challenges, accepted failures, still kept struggling, and finally achieved success, those individuals have meaningfully contributed to society at large, the larger society. The examples, the notable examples are Abdul Kalam. From humble Rameshwaram boy, he became the missile man of India. And do you think it was easy? Not at all. He also became the president of India. Do you think it was easy? Not at all. Look at our current prime minister, from a tea selling boy to the Prime Minister of India and the leader of the world. Mary Kom, from rural Manipur girl to 6-time world boxing champion. E. Sridharan, from Pamban bridge engineer to metro man of India. So all these individuals, they have showed through their actions that they didn't just go through the motions of life, right? They also grew, and their growth in turn contributed to the larger society. So this is how I have understood this topic. I have explicated this topic. Now let's move. He is the richest who is content with the least, for content is the wealth of nature. A very simple topic, very easy to understand, because we have so many times heard the saying, Santosham Param Sukham. It is something like that. True wealth lies in contentment, not material possessions. True contentment lies in, true wealth is contentment, true contentment. True contentment का मतलब क्या हुआ कि यदि तुम वास्तव में संतोषी हो तो वही तुम्हारा सबसे बड़ा वेल्थ है, क्योंकि वो तुमको हैप्पीनेस देता है. आफ्टर ऑल पैसे से लोग क्या खरीदने का कोशिश करता है? हैप्पीनेस खरीदने का कोशिश करता है, राइट? बट आयरोनिकली पैसे से, वेल्थ से हैप्पीनेस नहीं आ सकता है, क्षणिक आ सकता है, लॉन्ग लास्टिंग नहीं आ सकता है. लॉन्ग लास्टिंग जो खुशी है वो कहां से आता है? दैट कम्स थ्रू कंटेंटमेंट. इसीलिए सबसे बड़ा वेल्थ जो है सो कंटेंटमेंट है. अब इसी से, इसके तह के, इसके लेयर को यदि तुम हटाओ तो क्या पाते हो? सिंप्लिसिटी फॉस्टर्स पीस एंड सस्टेनेबिलिटी. जितना तुम अपने मटेरियल डिजायर को कम रखो उतना तुमको मानसिक शांति मिलेगी, और तुम्हारा जीवन तुम्हारे लिए, तुम्हारे परिवार के लिए और नेबरहुड के लिए सस्टेनेबल होगा. जितना तुम्हारा मटेरियल, योर डिजायर फॉर मटेरियल थिंग्स ग्रो, वो उतना क्या होगा? तुम्हारे लिए, तुम्हारे लाइफ में अशांति आएगा, परिवार में अशांति आएगा, समाज में अशांति आएगा, देश में अशांति आएगा. और इसको तुम इन्वायरमेंटल डिग्रेडेशन से भी जोड़ के देख सकते हो। इन्वायरमेंटल डिग्रेडेशन का सबसे बड़ा कारण है मैंस लस्ट फॉर मोर एंड मोर मटेरियल पोजेशंस। तो जितना अपना ग्रीड कम रखो, द लेस ग्रीड वी हैव, द मोर इट इज इन सिंक विथ नेचर्स रिदम्स। वो प्रकृति के रिदम से, नियम से मेल खाता है। जितना हम अपना इच्छा को बढ़ाएंगे, मटेरियल डिजायर्स को बढ़ाएंगे, goes against the rhythm of nature. So, if you want to promote harmony in your life, in your family's life, society life, life of the country, the world, this contentment is very important for that harmony. अब इसका एग्जाम्पल हम ले सकते हैं, इंडिविजुअल एग्जाम्पल्स, व्यक्तियों का। गांधी, from lawyer, a very simple life, he became the leader of India, the much beloved leader of India. Again, as a leader, he was leading a very simple kind of a life. His living was actually an example of simple living, high thinking. This is the saying that we see, we often we use this saying with reference to Mahatma Gandhi, who was able to attain, he was instrumental to attaining India's independence. Then, Kurian, Varghese Kurian, he was able to revolutionize rural development and was responsible for setting up this Amul brand, this dairy milk brand. Sudha Murthy, she was an engineer, and she has become a very humble philanthropist. So, these are some of the notable examples that show that contentment is really, these are the people who have been exemplary about this saying. So, this is how I have understood this topic. Let's move. The roots of education are bitter, but the fruit is sweet. Well, education is a training, and no training is easy. Education लंबा ट्रेनिंग है और ये इजी नहीं है। इसको, इस ट्रेनिंग में बहुत एफर्ट लगाना पड़ता है, अनुशासन में रहना पड़ता है, बहुत सेक्रीफाइस करना पड़ता है। हमारे गुरुकुल परंपरा में तो देखते थे बच्चे लोग घर छोड़ के जाते थे गुरुकुल, और उनको घर से दूर रह के, एक एफर्ट लगा के, डिसिप्लिन में रह के, बहुत चीज़ों को सेक्रीफाइस करके चीज़ों को सीखना पड़ता था। तो ऐसे एजुकेशन की प्राप्ति में इन सब चीज़ों की ज़रूरत पड़ती है। और एजुकेशन का सबसे बड़ा बाधा क्या है? शॉर्ट टर्म प्लेजर। long term pain will give you long term pleasure. एजुकेशन में, एजुकेशन के दौरान लॉन्ग टर्म यदि तुम पेन उठाते हो तो लाइफ लॉन्ग यू विल हैव प्लेजर। लेकिन एजुकेशन के दौरान यदि तुम शॉर्ट टर्म प्लेजर खोजते हो, इफ यू लुक फॉर शॉर्ट टर्म प्लेजर, देन what happens is that serious challenges will crop up in you getting good education. So, what are the rewards of education? You get knowledge, you become empowered person, you will have many opportunities in your life. Just the other day I was watching a film, शादी में जरूर आना, शायद 2017 का फिल्म है. So there are two sisters there. One who is just a housewife and the other one who becomes a sub-registrar. The father wanted to just get her married and not, even if the ससुराल वाला doesn't want, her to do job, she should not be doing job. That was the father's line. But she, ये तो कॉमेडी है फिल्म, तो she ran away from the marriage, became registrar. She asserted, she empowered herself. What I am trying to tell you is that she empowered herself. So education gives you knowledge, which empowers you, which also gives you opportunities. And you then become also responsible for not only transforming your own fortune, the fortune of your family, but also the fortune of your country through your contributions. If you become really educated. Let us look at some notable examples. Ambedkar, okay, he was at the receiving end of the caste discrimination, receiving end of poverty, but his education enabled him to transcend all these barriers and become the architect of the Constitution of India. And also, Kalpana Chawla, she was a small town girl from Haryana, and Haryana is such a patriarchal society. So she went through a small town struggles, gender bias, to become a NASA astronaut. Do you think those things were easy for her? No, not easy for her. She had to go through so many bitter struggles while getting education and making a mark for herself and for the world. Okay, so this is how I have understood the questions of the first group. Let's now look at the questions of the second group. This is the first question in the second group. Every man is guilty of all the good he did not do. Okay. हमने तो जीवन में आज तक एक भी बुरा काम नहीं किया है. There are many people who think like that. That's good, but that's not good enough. आप ये मत इसी पर मत स्मग होके रहो कि मैंने आज तक गलत काम नहीं किया है. आप ये सोचो कि आज तक मैंने अच्छा काम क्या नहीं किया है. यदि आपने कोई अच्छा काम नहीं किया है, then you should feel guilty about it, that you did not do that noble job that you should have done. This is basically the literal meaning of this statement. So what does this literal meaning mean? At the core of this literal meaning is an ethical demand. What is that ethical demand? That more than avoiding harm, we should be rendering proactive good. तो देखो यहां भी बाइनरी ऑपोजिशन है. एक तरह से एक तरफ है क्या, एक तरफ है अवॉइडिंग हार्म, दूसरी तरफ है प्रोएक्टिव गुड, डूइंग प्रोएक्टिव गुड. So which is better? The better is doing proactive good. What this also mean? If we dig deeper into it, this means that in action, if you are capable of taking an action, but you do not take the action, that means that you should feel yourself morally responsible for that inaction. Okay, next. Social progress needs civic engagement and moral courage. Okay, if people do not show courage to do the right thing at the right time, then social progress can be hindered. So this is why if you have not done the right thing, you should feel yourself culpable. Well, this applies to reform, justice, and also environmental leadership. Let's look at some examples. Bhopal gas tragedy of 1984. Okay, had safety enforcement would have been implemented in a strict way, the disaster would not have taken place. So because that good action was not taken, therefore the accident happened. The Delhi smoke crisis, well, the government for years have shown inaction towards the stubble burning in the NCR area and the states surrounding the NCR, most notably Punjab, Haryana, and Western Uttar Pradesh. Because the government has not done that good deed, so they smoke. So this is why this saying that if you do not do the good thing, you should not just remain smug that I have done no harm and therefore I am not guilty. No, you are guilty because you have not done the good thing. So this is what this saying means. Let's now look at the next one. A smile is the chosen vehicle of all ambiguities. Okay, this question is basically from organizational behavior or personality development. This is a subject under non-verbal communication. This features prominently. A smile is the chosen vehicle of all ambiguities. So what does a smile do? A smile can be a smirk, and a smile can be warm, and a smile, therefore a smile can conceal your real intentions. अब मैं हिंदी में भी इसको थोड़ा समझाता हूँ. मुस्कुराहट जो है वो एक व्यंग भी हो सकता है. किसी के कोई गिर गया, उसके गिरने पर हम स्मर्क कर सकते हैं. स्मर्क एक तरह का स्माइल ही होता है. ठीक है, उसके दुख में मुझे खुशी मिलेगी इसलिए हंसा. और हंसना वार्मथ भी दिखाता है, कनेक्शन, दूसरे व्यक्ति के प्रति कनेक्शन भी दिखाता है. तो इसलिए बिकॉज ए स्माइल कैन वर्क बोथ वेज, दिस इज व्हाई द स्माइल इज ए व्हीकल ऑफ एम्बिग्विटीज. ओके, ये थोड़ा इसमें एम्बिग्विटी है, क्योंकि ये वार्मथ दिखाएगा तो अच्छा फल देगा. यदि ये स्मर्क होगा तो वो खराब फल देगा, मिसलीड करेगा, यूनाइट नहीं करेगा. ठीक है. सो दिस इज अ प्राइम इंपॉर्टेंस इन डिप्लोमेसी. दिस स्माइल matters a lot in diplomacy and in social connection. Example देखो इसका कुछ prominent examples. Gandhi would often negotiate with the British with a smile on his face, right? So his smile was actually a vehicle for his firm strength. Okay, his resolve, inflexible determination. Barack Obama would often smile, and with his smile he seemed to be a very approachable leader, but he was a very skilled diplomat. Contrast this with current US President Donald Trump. He is just the opposite of Barack Obama. Rarely smiles. And his face shows his aggression, his desperation. So this is how I have understood this topic. Let's now go to the next one. Patriotism is the virtue of the vicious. देखो भाई, पैट्रियोटिज्म के नाम पर बहुत सारे देशों में बहुत गलत काम होता है. अब पैट्रियोटिज्म के नाम पर, देशभक्ति के नाम पर, दो नेबर को देख लो, एक हमारे उत्तर तरफ नेपाल और दूसरा देख लो हमारे पश्चिम तरफ पाकिस्तान. पैट्रियोटिज्म के नाम पर 40% से ऊपर नेपालियों को, जिसे वहां का उस देश के नेशनलिज्म में उनको स्थान नहीं दिया गया है, मधेशी के बारे में मैं बात कर रहा हूं, उसका कितना बड़ा दमन है, उसके साथ कितना बड़ा अन्याय है. और पाकिस्तान में देख लो, पैट्रियोटिज्म के नाम पर वहां का मिलिट्री क्या क्या करता है. लड़ाई लड़ने के अलावा भी बहुत कुछ करता है, बिजनेस से लेकर के सब कुछ करता है. तो ऐसे जो मैंने दो एग्जांपल तुमको दिया, ये क्या शो कर रहा है? ये शो कर रहा है कि पैट्रियोटिज्म के नाम पर गलत चीज होता है. सो दिस इज व्हाई दिस टॉपिक, पैट्रियोटिज्म इज द वर्च्यू ऑफ द विशियस. तो इसलिए जरूरी क्या है? जरूरी है कि दिस ब्लाइंड नेशनलिज्म, जिसको बायस, इथनिक बायस, प्रेजुडिस, रिलीजियस बायस, आर्टिफिशियल एनिमोसिटीज, मैन्युफैक्चर्ड एनिमोसिटीज, ये सब चीज फायर करता है, उसको आग देता है, पानी देता है, मल देता है, खाद देता है. इन चीजों को, these trends should be challenged. इन ट्रेंडों को चैलेंज करने की जरूरत है. इसलिए नेशनल लॉयल्टी मस्ट बी बैलेंस्ड विथ यूनिवर्सल वैल्यूज. ओके, जब कभी भी किसी भी देश में, हमारे देश में ही यदि पैट्रियोटिज्म का पॉलिटिकल यूज हो रहा है, if our politicians are making political use of patriotism, then we should look at this promotion of patriotism very critically, very skeptically. Only then we can keep ourselves immune from the vicious, from what this topic says, vicious patriotic assertions. अब एग्जाम्पल ले लें. कुछ एग्जाम्पल तो मैंने दिया हूं आगे भी, और कुछ जैसे श्रीलंका का सिविल वार, वो सीनेहलिज नेशनलिज्म के कारण से इतनी कन्फ्लिक्ट हुआ था. मैं नेपाल के बारे में बोला, वो मोर और लेस उतना ही सिमिलर है. श्रीलंका में ज़्यादा ब्लडी रूप ले चुका है, नेपाल में अभी लिया नहीं उतना ब्लडी रूप. नाजी जर्मनी, जो जर्मन ने यहूदियों के खिलाफ किया. So these are some of the prominent examples. Next topic is, even if you are a minority of one, the truth is the truth. अब ये देखो, सत्य जो है, सत्य तो सत्य है. यदि देश का अधिकांश लोग कहे असत्य को सत्य, और कुछ लोग ही हो जो सत्य को सत्य कहे, फिर भी वो जो कुछ लोग है, उसी का बात कल को सत्य के रूप में सत्य होगा. झूठ बात को जितना भी लोग सपोर्ट करे, झूठ ही होता है. सत्य सत्य होता है। सिंपल लिटरल मीनिंग इसका ये है। सो ट्रूथ रिमेन्स कांस्टेंट रिगार्डलेस ऑफ कंसेंसस, द मेजॉरिटी व्यू और द माइनॉरिटी व्यू। ओके, लेकिन यदि हम और तुम सत्य के राह पर हैं, सोचते हैं कि सत्य यह है, लेकिन हम लोग माइनॉरिटी में हैं, तो माइनॉरिटी में जो आदमी है उसको सत्य को सत्य कहने में, सत्य को सत्य कहने के लिए उसको चाहिए मोरल करेज एंड पर्सनल इंटेग्रिटी। वी नीड मोरल करेज एंड पर्सनल इंटेग्रिटी टू get the truth established as truth. Okay, अब सोचो 19th सेंचुरी बंगाल जैसे ऑर्थोडॉक्स सोसाइटी में ईश्वर चंद्र विद्यासागर ने वुमेन राइट्स के लिए पाइनियर किया, राइट? अब सोचो हमारे भारत में जो वीमेन के बारे में असत्य, एंशिएंट इंडियन टाइम से ही जो असत्य फैलाया गया था, उस असत्य के आधार पर ही तो उनका मार्जिनलाइजेशन था। उसको फाइट करने में इस आदमी को कितना दिक्कत हुआ होगा। ही वॉज वर्चुअली अ लोनर, बट डिस्पाइट हिम बीइंग अ लोनर, वेल he overcame the challenges and was able to change people's perspective towards women in India. गैलीलियो का एग्जाम्पल लो। गैलीलियो was the person who said that it is not the sun who moves around the earth, it is the earth that moves around the sun. लेकिन मेजॉरिटी ऑफ द पीपुल लेड बाय द चर्च ने उसको कहा कि झूठ मत बोलो। वो तो सत्य बोल रहा था, लेकिन चर्च वाले कह रहे थे झूठ मत बोलो, उसको जिंदा जला दिया। लेकिन उसने सत्य के राह से अपना पथ, अपना पग पीछे नहीं किया, एंड ही वॉज able to assert the truth. Okay, एक और एग्जाम्पल हम ले सकते हैं आयरोम शर्मिला का। 16 साल तक वो फास्टिंग की, ओके, आइसोलेटेड रही, फास्टिंग की, लेकिन ह्यूमन राइट्स के पथ से अडिग नहीं हुई। काफी नॉर्म्स को उन्होंने डिफाई किया, चैलेंज किया। तो इस सबसे हम क्या समझते हैं कि इनजस्टिस और फॉल्सहुड में सीधा संबंध है। इनजस्टिस और फॉल्सहुड में देयर इज अ डायरेक्ट कनेक्शन बिटवीन इनजस्टिस एंड फॉल्सहुड। सो देयरफॉर दिस falsehood must be replaced by truth, okay, even if severe challenges have to be faced. So this is what this topic means. Now we have understood the topic, all the topics in this way, right? Now what is your next move as an IAS candidate in the examination hall should be? Your next move should be which two of the topics I should choose, right? Now this can vary from individual to individual. So I am going to let you know my choice of the two topics, and I am also going to give you the rationale why I have chosen those topics, just chosen 2 and left out 6. My choice of the two topics from my perspective is the best choice. right? And at the center of my perspective is my strength, my knowledge of those topics, the clarity of my idea. So this is why, I again insist that your choice will vary from individual to individual. So that the choice varies from individual to individual doesn't matter. That will vary. What matters is that you must have a reason in your mind why you have chosen the topics. Because if you have a reason, a convincing reason, well, this is why I have, chosen these two topics. That reason will get translated into a better quality for your essay. So, you are going to learn from the experience of my choice. You should not think that the choice that I am talking about are the best choice and everybody should follow those choices. No, no, no. This is not what I am saying. What I am saying is that the way I am going through this process, you learn from this process and you learn the advantage of choosing the topic before you write. You got me, right? Good. So my choice from group A is, it always seems impossible until it is done. This is my choice from group A. What is my choice from group B? Let's see. My choice from group B is the last one. Even if you are a minority of one, the truth is the truth. So the first topic from group A and the last topic from group B is my choice, Professor Dr. Beerendra Pandey's choice. Should it be your choice too? Not really. But why it is my choice? Because I have a reason, right? And that reason will enable me to produce high quality essays. Okay, so let's go back to the first one. Let's know the reason for my selection. I chose the first topic because this topic has interdisciplinary potential. Okay. This topic, it always seems possible until it is done. It has interdisciplinary potential. I can bring ideas from disciplines like philosophy, history, governance, science, social science, etc., etc. Right? I can provide sufficient examples from freedom movement, from moon landing, from vaccine development, right? And I can adopt a very balanced tone when I am writing the essay. I can, even though I will be able to push for quote unquote impossible thinking, I will also be able to talk about its risks. What are the risks of impossible thinking, the counter view. So I am in my mind clear about the counter view of also. And mind you, whenever you are giving a counter view to a topic, asked topic in the examination, that speaks very highly of your critical thinking, which the UPSC examination rewards. So this is also one of the reasons why I have chosen this topic. And I have possibilities for a very strong hook in the introduction. I can use landmark achievements as hook. And I can be very engaging and very motivational. Above all, with all these things, I will be able to produce an essay in between 1000 and a little over 1100 words, 1000 to 1200 words more or say. So because these are the reasons in my mind, this is why I have chosen that. If you have similar logic of whichever topic you choose, right, you will naturally be able to produce a very effective essay. So let's look at the second one, second of my choice. Sorry. Even if you are a minority or one, the truth is the truth. This topic has much greater philosophical depth, right? I can bring in Gandhi's ideals. I can talk a lot about moral courage. I can also, apart from philosophy, I can also bring in diverse perspectives from history, governance, judiciary, that is law, science. I can bring in really very powerful examples from Indian context of Gandhi, Ambedkar, Anna Hazare, right? And here again I will be able to give the counter view. The risks of extreme minority positions. I have a few examples in my mind, and with those examples I will be able to also give the counter view. And I just told you that counter view, if you have in your essay, that will reap a good harvest, that will get you good marks. And again, I have a strong hook potential of Galileo trial, the Dundee March, the Salt March of Mahatma Gandhi. So because of these reasons I have chosen these two topics. So you see why I am insisting you that you should have a logic in your mind of your choice, and why I did not choose other topics. What are my reasons? Well, my reasons are other topics are too narrow or too abstract, and I was not feeling very comfortable that I will be able to write a sustained essay of 1000 to 1200 words on those topics. Okay. I was also constrained by the fact that, for example, the topic, a smile is the chosen vehicle of all ambiguities. As professor of English, I have had the experience of having taught organizational behavior and personality development to BBA and MBA students for so long. I know so many things about it at the information level. But the real life examples that can really make the essay very telling, very powerful, I wasn't very sure about it. I had a very few examples. So I thought, no, I am not going to take up this topic, even though at the level of information I know quite a bit. Because just producing the information is not going to get me good marks here. UPSC essays reward balanced, interdisciplinary, example-rich essays. And other topics, in other topics, I did not see potentiality for those things as much I saw in those two topics which I chose. Right. So in sum, the topics I selected has allowed me breadth, depth, and potential for critical analysis. So this is why I chose. And I now understand that you should also have understood the rationale behind me talking about my choice. My intention is not that you should be choosing the topics that I have chosen. Rather, learn from the way I have chosen. And the bottom line is that you should not be choosing a topic without a logic. Okay, if you have convincing logic, definitely your essay will be good. Your essay will talk. Okay, now we get to the writing section. But before we get to the writing section, again, the planning the structure of your essay. Planning the structure of your essay. This planning is very important. You know that an essay is of three parts: introduction, body, and conclusion. So first of all, talk about these three parts: introduction, body, and conclusion. The introduction is the cosmetic part. let us take the essay as a human being, right? A human being has a body, right? The body has a face, then the body and the leg. The conclusion is like the leg. Introduction is like the face. And we use cosmetics on the face. And to keep our leg very strong, we often use oil there. Oil. तेल लगाते हैं ना पैर में, फेस में कॉस्मेटिक्स लगाते हैं, पैर में तेल लगाते हैं, ठीक है? तो एसे को कंपेयर करें इसी से, बॉडी से, तो एसे का इंट्रोडक्शन फेस है. फेस अच्छा दिखाने के लिए हम कॉस्मेटिक्स यूज करते हैं, लेग को स्ट्रांग रखने के लिए तेल यूज करते हैं. तो लेकिन असल पार्ट तो बॉडी है. द रियल पार्ट इज द बॉडी. सो द रियल पार्ट ऑफ द एसे इज द बॉडी. The introduction and the conclusion are not the primary parts, but very important parts. They are not primary, but very important parts. Okay. And set, there is a set formula. Our formula nahi bole, template bole. There is a set template for the introduction. And what is that template? That template is, the essay begins with the hook. The introduction part begins with the hook. Then there is the bridge. Then there is the explanation, brief explanation. And finally the thesis statement. These are the 4 elements that should be in the introduction. Set elements. Okay. Same way, conclusion also has set elements. Okay. We give the gist of, we restate the thesis that is in the introduction, give the gist of the main ideas of the body paragraphs, and then we come up with something very philosophical, reflective, something very aphoristic that should stick as a message in the mind of the reader. Okay. So, conclusion also has set elements, 3 elements. Restate the thesis, restate the gist of the main ideas of the body paragraphs, and finally round off with an aphoristic statement that sticks in the mind of the reader for long. Okay. So this is why I said that these are like secondary things, but the real thing is the body. The body. So if you are writing an essay of, say, plan your essay not for 1200 words, not for 1000 words, plan your essay for 1100 words, because either you will be able to go short by few or go over by few. So you will be on the safe side. You will not cross over. If you keep it at the level of 1100, you will not go over 12 and you will not fall short of 1000. So if I am just giving you a template, let the introduction be of something around 135 words. Okay, 125 to 135 words. Say 125 words. And the conclusion of 75 words. So in total you have 200 words. So the body paragraph should be of, you have how many words to express in the body paragraphs? 900 words. For 900 words, you should be going for 4 to 6 body paragraphs or body passages. I normally say passages, but you take paragraphs because a passage may have more than one paragraph, but you think paragraph only. Okay, no problem. So if you go, you see, introduction of 125 words, conclusion of 75 words, that means 200 words. Body paragraph of 900 words, roughly of, so you go for 4 to 6 paragraphs. Okay, 150 to 175 words, something like that. And you will be on the safe side. Okay. So as I said, introduction must have hook. You should begin your introduction with a hook sentence. What is the function of the hook sentence? The function of the hook sentence is to grab the attention of the reader. It could be an example, a striking example. It could be a very short anecdote. It could be an imperative sentence. It could be an interrogative sentence. It should be something, you should put the thing in a striking way. But as you try to put the thing in a striking way, the danger is that it may not directly be linked to your topic. So if the hook is not directly linking to your topic, you should have a bridge in between. Have a sentence or so that bridges your hook to the topic, and then you explain the topic briefly and move to the thesis statement. Where does your thesis statement come from? Your thesis statement comes from all the main ideas of your body paragraphs. You take the main ideas from your body paragraphs in a very distilled manner and you put it there as the thesis statement. Right. So this is how you do it. For example, let's take my topic 1. Let's see the introduction, the one that I am suggesting as hook. Inspiring example of one's impossible achievement. So you begin with any example. You can begin with Chandrayaan 3, landing on the moon, or landing on the Mars, right? Anything like that, and connect that to universal human experience of doubt. Then briefly explain the quote, and as you explain the quote, at the center of the quote is perseverance and resilience. Perseverance, दृढ़ता. Resilience, संघर्षशीलता. इस quote के सेंटर में है दृढ़ता और संघर्षशीलता. तो आप उसको एक्सप्लेन कीजिए, perseverance और resilience को. quote स्वयं एक्सप्लेन हो जाएगा. And then you give the thesis statement. Your thesis statement will be what? The multidisciplinary approach in the body paragraphs, from philosophy, from sociology, from law, I mean whichever the disciplinary approaches, angles from which you are looking at it. वो वहाँ से आएगा. You distill all them together here, and that will become the thesis statement. Okay. Same way, the body structure. अब ये ध्यान रखिए, ये जो मैंने कैपिटलाइज करके रखा है, मैं थोड़ा इधर हो जाता हूं. अब ठीक से देख लीजिए. पील, PEEL. So after the introduction, I'm going to tell you how I have how I have planned the body structure of the first topic, and how you should go about planning the body structure of the topic of your choice. If you look at the slide, if you look at the title in caps, all caps, you see a word that is PEEL, all capital. पील. पील का मतलब सीधा होता है हिंदी में छिलका निकालना, परत निकालना, परत दर परत निकालना. ओके, लेकिन इसको मैंने एक्रोनिम के जैसे यूज किया है, पील। दिस पील का मीनिंग है, पी मीन्स पॉइंट, फर्स्ट ई मीन्स एविडेंस, सेकेंड ई मीन्स एक्सप्लेन, एंड यल मीन्स लिंक। तो इसको समझो। इसका मीनिंग जो मैंने हिंदी में तुमको बताया और एक्रोनिम का जो अर्थ है, दोनों में कनेक्शन है, इसलिए मैंने हिंदी में अर्थ बताया। परत, छिलका निकालना, परत दर परत निकालना। तो तुम यही काम करते हो हर एक बड़ी पैराग्राफ में, तुम यही काम करोगे। हर एक बड़ी पैराग्राफ में तुम्हारा कोई एक मेन पॉइंट होगा, उस पॉइंट का तुम एविडेंस दोगे, प्रमाण दोगे, उसको एक्सप्लेन करोगे और उसको लिंक करोगे। फिर लिंक करोगे किससे? अपने पैराग्राफ के मेन आइडिया से, एस्से के थीसिस से, और अगले बड़ी पैराग्राफ के आइडिया से लिंक करोगे। सो दिस इज द मीनिंग ऑफ दिस पील। कीप दिस इन माइंड। इसको दिमाग में बैठा लो, इस पील को, कि हर एक बड़ी पैराग्राफ में यही करना है, परत दर परत निकालना है। पहले एक मेन पॉइंट से शुरू करना है, उसका एविडेंस देना है, फिर उसको एक्सप्लेन करना है, एक्सप्लेन करके उसको लिंक करना है। अब लिंक करने में तीन तुम्हारा आंख तीन जगह होना चाहिए। एक, उस पैराग्राफ का मेन पॉइंट पर होना चाहिए कि मेन पॉइंट से कैसे लिंक होता है। दूसरा, वो मेन पॉइंट तुम्हारे थीसिस से कैसे लिंक होता है। और फिर तुम नेक्स्ट पैराग्राफ में जाओगे जिस आइडिया पर, उससे कैसे लिंक होता है। क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग की सबसे ज्यादा जरूरत यहीं पड़ती है। इसको राइटिंग की भाषा में, साधारण भाषा में बोलते हैं लॉजिकल कनेक्शन। इस लिंक को बोलते हैं लॉजिकल कनेक्शन एंड स्मूथ ट्रांजिशन। और इसमें नंबर होता है अच्छा खासा। जब एग्जामिनर तुम्हारा एस्से को चेक करेगा तो देखेगा कि तुम्हारा लॉजिकल कनेक्शन और ये ट्रांजिशन कैसा है, स्मूथ है कि नहीं। ओके, सो लेट अस सी द बॉडी स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ टॉपिक 1। मैंने जो बॉडी स्ट्रक्चर इसका प्लान किया है वो है फिलॉसफी से, हिस्ट्री पॉलिटिक्स से, साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी से, सोशल चेंज से, मतलब सोशियोलॉजी के विषय से, पर्सनल पर्सपेक्टिव से, और जैसा कि मैंने पहले कहा था काउंटर व्यू। तो बड़ा जरूरी होता है काउंटर व्यू देना। सो फिलॉसफी, जैसे नीत्शे, जैसे विवेकानंद और नीत्शे ने जो कहा है कि आदमी का विश्वास कैसे एक्शन को शेप करता है, उसका आइडिया हम लाएंगे इसमें। फ्रीडम स्ट्रगल का आइडिया लाएंगे और सोशल मूवमेंट्स का आइडिया लाएंगे इसमें। स्पेस एक्सप्लोरेशन का आइडिया लाएंगे, मेडिकल एडवांसेस का आइडिया लाएंगे, जेंडर इक्वालिटी का आइडिया लाएंगे, डिसेबिलिटी राइट्स का आइडिया लेके आएंगे, और आदमी अपने पर्सनल लिमिटेशंस को कैसे ओवरकम करता है। काफी एग्जांपल्स है ना, जैसे हेलन किलर ब्लाइंड थी, मैंने पहले बताया था, उस तरह का काफी एग्जांपल्स है। तो उन तरह का मैं पर्सनल लेके आऊंगा कुछ एग्जांपल्स, और ये भी दिखाऊंगा कि ब्लाइंड ऑप्टिमिज्म का रिस्क क्या है, काउंटर व्यू दूंगा। So this is how the body structure of my essay I have planned. अब उसके बाद जाते हैं कंक्लूजन पार्ट में। तो कंक्लूजन पार्ट में ऐसे के टॉपिक के अनुसार से मैं वे फॉरवर्ड दिखाऊंगा, थीसिस को रीस्टेट करूंगा, समरी पर्सपेक्टिव, जो जितना बड़ी पैराग्राफ्स जो डिसिप्लिनरी पर्सपेक्टिव्स है उसका जिस्ट दूंगा, और वो जो मैंने बोल रहा था ना एफोरिस्टिक स्टेटमेंट होना चाहिए, जो इंस्पायरिंग विजन देता हो, उस तरह का एक स्टेटमेंट दूंगा जो दिमाग में स्टिक करेगा. सो दिस इज हाउ आई हैव प्लान्ड इट. ओके, टॉपिक 2. सो टॉपिक 2 में हुक, फॉर द इंट्रोडक्शन हुक आई विल बी ब्रिंगिंग गैलीलियोज इंक्विजिशन, गांधी का डंडी मार्च. दोनों लेके आ सकता हूं, दोनों में से कोई एक लेके आ सकता हूं या दोनों को प्ले कर सकता हूं. इसको मैं ब्रिज करूंगा, इस एग्जाम्पल में दिखाऊंगा कि कैसे मोरल करेज है, अकेले खड़ा रहते हुए भी दोनों ने कैसे मोरल करेज दिखाया, और वो मोरल करेज ऑटोमेटिकली लिंक हो जाता है किससे, टॉपिक से, टॉपिक के एक्सप्लेनेशन से. और उसके बाद मैं मल्टी डिसिप्लिनरी पर्सपेक्टिव से थीसिस स्टेटमेंट देके टॉपिक को मोरल आई विल बी स्पीकिंग इन फेवर ऑफ द टॉपिक. So this is how I have planned the introduction for this. The body structure, things I will be bringing will be from philosophy, history, politics, science, law and judiciary, sociology, and the counter view will be minority positions need evidence. तो सॉक्रेट्स और गांधी का जो एब्सोल्यूटिज्म का फिलॉसफी है उसके आइडिया से मैं इसको एक्सप्लिकेट करूंगा पहले. उसके बाद फ्रीडम फाइटर्स, सोशल रिफॉर्मर्स को लाऊंगा, हिस्ट्री और पॉलिटिक्स के आइडिया से इसको डेवलप करने के लिए, साइंस के पर्सपेक्टिव से डेवलप करने के लिए गैलीलियो का एग्जाम्पल, पास्चर का एग्जाम्पल जिसने माइक्रोब्स के बारे में, बैक्टीरिया के बारे में रिसर्च किया था, लैंडमार्क ट्रूथ डिफेंडिंग जजमेंट्स, माइनॉरिटी पर्सपेक्टिव को कभी कभी कोर्ट सही ठहराता है, वैसा लैंडमार्क जजमेंट्स क्या है उससे दिखाऊंगा. सोशल रिफॉर्मर्स ने कैसे सोशल नॉर्म्स को चैलेंज किया उससे इसको एक्सप्लिकेट करूंगा. तो इस तरह से मैंने इसको प्लान किया, आई हैव प्लान्ड इट. अब इसका वे फॉरवर्ड और कंक्लूजन तो सीधा है. इसमें मोरल लेसन क्या है, डिसेंट मस्ट बी रेस्पेक्टेड. डिसेंटिंग व्यू को भी वैल्यू देना चाहिए क्योंकि डिसेंट ऑफन लीड्स टू ट्रूथ. कंक्लूजन में रीस्टेट द थेसिस, summarize examples and end with resonant statement, the same as before. Okay, so this is how I have planned it. Now we go to the real writing of the essay. Writing the essay. So I have written the 2 essays. Midway, I will also explain some of the things, particularly, what are the special things that I have done there, and to which you should be paying attention to as you spend your few weeks preparing for your final examination. So, let's look at the first one. The first essay is, it always seems impossible until it is done. Okay, and this has been written by me. So I am going to read out slowly, and I will also be explaining things. Some of the special things which I want you to keep in mind. So let's look at the introduction. In 1969, the world watched in wonder as humans walked on the moon for the first time. For centuries, such a journey had been a dream, often dismissed as impossible. Yet, with courage, planning, and persistence, the impossible became a historic reality. This captures the essence of vision and resilience in the face of doubt. This is not a lesson received for a space exploration. It is a theme that runs through the struggles of nations, the triumphs of science, the victories of social movements, and the personal milestones of ordinary people. The essay finds out how impossible goals have been achieved in philosophy, science, society, and personal life, while also reflecting on the dangers of unrealistic ambition and the ways to turn impossibility into reality. So let me explain this. What are some of the things that I have done, and you should also be doing similarly on whichever topic you write. I began with a hook of moon landing in 1969. So that is the hook. An example that immediately grabs the attention of the reader. Okay. Thereafter, what do? I give the bridge. Which is the bridge sentence? The bridge sentence is it starts with, yet with courage, planning, persistence, the impossible became a historic reality. Just look at some of the words there. Courage, planning, persistence. By the virtue of mobilization of these things, the impossible became possible, a reality. So the examples have embedded in it these words, which lead towards the meaning of the topic. So this is why this sentence is a bridge. And then I explain the topic. The idea speaks to the power of perseverance, vision, resilience in the face of doubt. This is not a lesson reserved for space exploration. It is a theme that runs through the struggles of nations. And as I explain the topic, I have done a very clever thing. As I am explaining the topic through words like perseverance, resilience, and vision, these words are at the core of the meaning of the topic. See how I am streamlining the topic towards the main ideas of my body paragraphs. The main ideas of my body paragraphs are from the struggles of nations, for example, India's independence movement history, science, okay, social movements, personal milestones of ordinary people. So now I am giving a trajectory of the explanation of the topic in a way that it moves towards the ideas, the potential ideas of my body paragraph, and then I very explicitly, in explicit manner, I say the essay finds out how impossible goals have been achieved in philosophy, history, science, society, personal life, leaving the reader in no doubt that I am giving an interdisciplinary treatment to this topic. My thesis statement comes from there. See. So the introduction paragraph is very functional. You should be, in these last few days, you should be practicing for such a functional introductory paragraph. Then the essay, you see, first of all, you look at the essay. I will show you. The first body paragraph is about the philosophical perspective. The second is about the historical perspective. The third is about scientific and technological perspective. The fourth is from social change and human rights. The fifth one is personal perspective. And the seventh one is counter view. And then, I am also giving a reason what is the importance of this, why the impossible feels impossible. And then talking of a strategic approach, then giving conclusion, right? So this is the way I have done it. It will be impossible for me to read the whole of the essay, but some of the things that I have done and that you should be doing, I am going to explain to you. Let's go back to the philosophical perspective. Let's go back to the introduction. In the introduction, towards the last, you see the word philosophy in bolded. You see the word philosophy is bolded, right? And the first body paragraph is philosophical perspective. The first body paragraph is philosophical perspective. And the first sentence is, philosophy tells us that impossibility is often a matter of perception. And then I bring in Nietzsche and Vivekanand, right? Now, why I have bolded that word philosophy? I want you to understand that when you move from one paragraph to another paragraph, that logical connection and a smooth transition, you must achieve that. You must have a logical connection and a smooth transition from one paragraph to another paragraph. So the introduction paragraph ends with a thesis statement in which philosophy is mentioned, and the next paragraph I talk about the philosophical approach. So the connection here is natural and at the level of word. You do not have to make any effort for logical connection here. Connection here is very natural and at the level of diction, word. Philosophy there, philosophy here, right? Second paragraph, and you see I have crossed out philosophical perspective. I have crossed out introduction. I have crossed out all the captions. I have crossed out. Because in the examination on a topic like this, you do not need to really give the the captions. These captions I have given for you to understand here, for not to imitate this in your examination paper. So this is why I have crossed out. The third paragraph is about historical and political perspective, and you see there the first sentence of that paragraph. I'll show you. The first sentence of that paragraph, building on this mental foundation, history gives us proof and belief can transform into organized action. This is again bolded. And why is this bolded? This is bolded because see, what a big leap of idea you are taking. You are, as a writer, you just talked about philosophy. And now you are going to talk about Indian freedom struggle, and you are going to, that is the Indian independence movement. You are going to talk about that, and that is a big leap from philosophy to Indian independence movement is a big jump in idea. Therefore, the logical connection must be there. And the function of this sentence is that very thing. Because you read the paragraph before that. You read the paragraph, this philosophy thing, particularly the last part of that paragraph. This philosophical understanding is essential because it lays the mental foundation for real world achievements. Before a nation wins independence, a scientist finds a cure, or an athlete crosses a finish line, someone must first believe it is possible. So that sentence links to the choice, not only links to the choice of the other paragraphs, but it also leads to this historical and political perspective, and this sentence leaves the reader in no doubt because there is mental foundation there and here is also mental foundation here. Building on this mental foundation, history gives us proof that belief can transform into organized action. Okay. So, what I am trying to tell you, let me repeat, is that as you move from one paragraph to another paragraph, and more so because here you have compulsorily to take a multidisciplinary perspective. You are building a paragraph on a particular discipline, next paragraph on another discipline. Therefore, the logical connect, you must establish a logical connection. The smooth transition. And this is what I have done all through the essay. Now let me jump to the conclusion thing. Counter view thing. I will explain to you the counter view. Okay. I am going to read this out to you. While these successes inspire, they also warn against uncritical optimism. So far in this essay, what I have done is that I have taken one discipline, then another discipline, yet another discipline to write in favor of the topic. Now I am writing against the topic. But when you write against the topic, you should not leave the thing unresolved. Because if you leave the thing unresolved, if you bring in the opposite view and you do not account for the opposite view, you do not adjust it with the other view, this is being uncritical and would be an example of the lack of critical thinking. So it's important for you to see it, how I have done it, and you should be also doing likewise. While these successes inspire, they also warn against uncritical optimism. Not all goals can be achieved immediately, and pursuing them without resources, planning, and the right training can lead to failure. Large scale projects, whether in technology or social reform, risk wasting resources and public trust if attempted without feasibility studies or proper groundwork. The challenge is to maintain ambition while grounding it in reality, pairing high vision with clear strategies, resource planning, and adaptability. Okay, so this counter view, what is the writer doing in this counter view? In this counter view, the writer is warning against uncritical optimism. कर लेंगे भाई, चलो हो जाएगा हो जाएगा हो जाएगा, right? This attitude, if blended with planning and vision, has potentiality for success. लेकिन यदि इसमें, if it is not blended with vision and proper planning and strategy, just having this optimistic outlook is not going to get the success. It will lead to utter failure, which can be more damaging. So, see, the way the counter view has been given, the contradiction resolves itself. And it is an example of critical thinking. So, now I this is the way I have done the second essay also. It will be very long for you and will be very boring for you. So I am now taking you to the final takeaway. What you learn from the way I have in the role, I put myself in the role of a UPSC candidate and sharing with you my approach to writing the essay. So what are the final takeaways for you? Let's talk about that. The final takeaway: critical thinking, synthesis of disciplinary views. Okay, you see, the UPSC essay requires you to be multidisciplinary. If you are not multidisciplinary, if you approach the essay from the perspective of only one discipline, UPSC will not reward you with good marks. So you have no choice here. You have to be multidisciplinary. So what is the challenge for you? The primary challenge for you is how to synthesize the disciplinary views. You should synthesize the disciplinary views in a way that not only integrate the multiple domains like philosophy, history, sociology, etc., etc., but the way you should, integrate the core ideas of each of your treatment of the disciplines to your central argument. And what is your central argument? Your central argument is the thesis statement that you placed towards the last of the first paragraph. That is the argument of your essay. Your essay must, the body paragraphs must speak back to, the body paragraphs which are full of things from multiple domains, multiple disciplines, must speak back to the thesis statement. Okay. And your essays must have the counter view. If you give the counter view, this means that you are aware of the the other side also. You are not one-sided, and you know how the anomaly can be resolved. That speaks highly of your critical thinking. So these are the two takeaways for you from this slide. Let's look at the next slide. This is what I was talking about: logical connection and a smooth transition, depth of analysis, etc., etc. So if you want to get good marks, be a cut above the rest, the use of critical thinking in your essay is your edge. Your essay must exhibit critical thinking, your critical thinking of a higher order. Okay. Listing just facts, narrating events, doing just those things are not going to get you good marks. How you arrange those things, how you link those things, how you arrange those things into a whole, how you link those things, right? That is what is going to get you good marks. Okay. So critical thinking allows you to synthesize multiple perspectives and help you present a balanced, well-reasoned argument. Okay. And you must remember that a strong introduction and a strong conclusion, because you see, a strong introduction and a strong conclusion will remain in the memory of the examiner for a very long time. If those remain in the memory of the examination, if he wants to give you say 5 marks, will end up you giving 7 marks. His tendency will be always to give you higher marks. So you should also be aware of those two things, the introduction and the conclusion, the way I have taught it. Then this, again this logical connection and smooth transitions. Both essays have that. The essays that I have done, both essays have logical and smooth transitions. I showed you some from the first essay. And finally, what is your rationale? Sorry, this one. Finally, what is the thing, the word, the one word I want you to keep in your mind that will make your essay be flush with critical thinking, is meta-analysis. A good essay writer is one who is a good reader himself or herself. If you are a critical reader of your own draft, you are meta-analyzing your essay. You know, why have you written this thing? Why do you want to cut out this thing? Why do you want to add this thing? Why you want to remove that thing? These things whether my connection is weak, whether my connection is strong, whether my connection still needs a bit of a strengthening. These things are very necessary. So as you write, you should also be reading your essay as you write, reading not loudly, reading to yourself and analyzing in your mind the thing that I am doing, why I am doing that, meta-analyzing your own writing. Okay. And if you are satisfied, that means you are on the right track. If you think, oh, no, something sticks to your gizzard, okay, change that. Right? If you do that, you are writing with critical thinking. So, the bottom line is this very thing. The bottom line is that if you want to get good score in your examination, not only your language should be free flowing, not only your ideas should be of multidisciplinary domains, but your essay must be flush with critical thinking. And I think I have sufficiently explained to you what that critical thinking in practice means. And I wish you a good luck for your examination. Thank you for giving me a patient hearing, listening. Thank you. हो गया भाई.